In fact, the humorous education session has already begun with Toastmaster Act. He has put you all into the energy mode. In fact, when he was, I was sitting here, I was about to go to the toilet, but then suddenly he said emotional energy. I sat down. Because I probably did not want to enact emotional energy. Fellow Toastmasters, a good introduction by Toastmaster Pat. In fact, I was a little scared, Generally when we start in our Toastmaster journey, we talk too much of butterflies in the stomach. But today, really I was getting butterflies in the stomach because he suddenly showed his hand for a guest introduction and he said Nitya, Sanjeev, and again he did this. I was a bit, I don't know whether I had to get up, but then I wanted to introduce myself as a stranger, not as a guest. Then fortunately for me, though I was sitting along with the guests, though I am not a guest, Toastmaster Menon came to my rescue, only with his hands here. It was so nice. Well, S.R. Menon, sir, saved me from a lot of embarrassment. But then, guilt has always got into me, been bitten by the bug of guilt, because I used to be a regular Toastmaster here. We started a long time. ByDTM Dr. Trinatharao knows this, so is Toastmaster Pat. But an education session on humor was something which attracted me the moment the REAP education asked me whether it can do something on humor. Again, Pat was telling that though with a couple of jokes here, he said that he found it difficult to craft a speech with humor. Probably it is so. But then, humor is such an important ingredient for all of us. Let me tell you, humor has several advantages. It has disadvantages also. But then, I thought I'll make it a little interactive by asking, what is humor? Can anybody say? What is meant by humor?
Making people laugh without hurting them.
Making people laugh without hurting is a very good definition. But anything beyond? Because again,
just relaxation.
Just relaxation. Because Pat made all of us laugh with a couple of jokes. But then he said it is not humor. I am right. The question here is, humor is the way of creating a funny part of a serious situation. It is the most important definition which has gone across. When a communication takes place, a chain of thoughts gets into the listener's mind and the thoughts get polarized in a particular way. At that time, the person who wants to bring in humor will create a different thought. He will change, or it is also called polarization. A different way of looking at it, then suddenly it will invoke some kind of delight in the listener. What exactly happens is, basic communication is from the heart to the heart. Please remember, the person who communicates well is one who speaks from the heart. And the way of communication is that should reach the listener's heart. When such thing happens, the communication is very perfect. Whenever you see humor, it enters your heart. That is the reason why you feel elated, you feel very nice, a very comfort situation. Seriousness is lost But still, believe me, the message has gone into the person. That is why humor is a sugar-coated pill, we say. So many attempts have been made on humor. So many. But people find it difficult. Why? Why is it so? You see, it is purely based on a factor called temperament. I am entering into the basics of the science of humor for some time and then we go to it. It is called temperament. Can anybody say what is the difference between temperament and attitude? Many people say it's the same.
Temperament is temporal, attitude is permanent.
Attitude
Will be there.
Attitude is permanent.
Changes.
Temperament is temporary.
Changes.
Changes. Okay. Anybody else?
Attitude has more to do with the brain. Temperament more to do with the heart.
Emotion.
Emotion. What is emotion? Tell me. Which one?
Temperament.
Temperament, not attitude. Attitude has no emotion. Okay, anyway, I'll let you. Yes, sir.
So attitude is ingrained, temperamental is situation.
Temperament is. Okay,
The difference is very simple. Very simple difference. One is Jayakar, one is ByDTM Which one is it?
which one is the one I want to know? That's worrying me more now. Okay, you see, it is very simple. If you really see the definition, both are same almost. But the point is, a temperament is a state of mind which creates a permanent change in the personality. I am talking of proto-psychological theory. Carl S. Jung was one of the persons who did a lot of work on this. See, a temperament is one which creates a permanent change in the personality, whereas an attitude will create a temporary change in the personality. Why so? For example, we are getting into a challenge, a hurdle, a challenge. We will say, why don't we look at the positive attitude? Why? When we get into a positive attitude, we will be able to overcome that hurdle. You will be changing your personality on a temporary basis to ensure that that attitude, that personality that hurdle can be overcome. Can we have tea and then continue?
No, sir. You can continue.
He wants tea.
No, there's
No.
been
After
some
the-
cross talk. We are having internet of things.
Telepathy.
So that is how you know that the difference comes. Now, if you want to bring humor into yourself, the personality of yours should actually change. Many people try humorous speeches. What they do is they try to. First thing is they go and buy a Sardarji joke book. They'll read 100 jokes. And they would like to put these jokes. No, if your own personality is changing, if you look at comedians in Tamil movies is the best example. You will find the moment you look at him as a personality, you will start laughing. He will not even start with the dialogue. You know, why? Because he has created a temperament in such a way, he has changed his personality in such a way that he can bring out humor. So unless we work on this, if we at all we are getting into a humorous speech, maybe a contest as we go ahead. The basic idea of having a contest and going up is only because you would like to become a humorous speaker over a period of time. If that is going to be your specialization, you must create within yourself a personality which will automatically be able to bring humor. That is the essence. See, you may be wondering why I am talking about temperament, attitude, and then humor. What is the link? First of all, we should have started about humor. So that is the basic. Look at yourself, how you create humor by yourself in your own behavioral attitudes, in your own behavioral temperament. There are several temperaments you will be knowing: sanguine temperament, melancholic temperament, phlegmatic temperament. They all got definitions. You have got choleric temperament, a person who is a very short tempered, who will be highly negative. You will not find humor in that person at all. In fact, he will be so cold, you would not like to talk to him. You You like to get away from. You will find, a melancholic person who is very, quiet, but he keep on calculating what's happening. Okay, you will find a phlegmatic temperament where, he'll be very relaxed, cool attitude. He will be very humorous. So, these temperaments are the one which will create humor. But now, let's come to the humor part of it, which is the most interesting. See, why did I say that the communication is from the heart to the heart? When the communication goes from the heart to the heart, the best communication, but it goes through two junctions. One junction is called the mind. The speaker's mind. From the heart it goes to the mind of the speaker, and from that it goes to the listener's mind. From the listener's mind it will go to the listener's heart. So there are two junctions actually. And this is where the tracks will start changing. Communication fails when what has to be said from the heart finally doesn't reach the heart. The tracks have changed. In that junction point. Going to Bangalore, you start going towards this side. And then the whole train has gone very far away. This is how we have to look at temperament, because temperament is the one which brings into the mind of the speaker as well as the listener. Now let's talk of humor as such. Humor, there are varieties of humor. Varieties. Sarcasm, self-deprecating humor. There is something called witty, trying to be very witty. There are several. But all these things are something which you can learn. I myself have not learned from the books. Basically, the building block would be to look at yourself with that temperament to create humor. Now, how do we talk of humor? There are so many ways. One of the way is to create a real situation. If you want to tell a joke in such a way it is a real life situation, which will also carry a message, which will create humor. In my DTM journey, I always had a companion with me, Mullah Nazruddin. And Mullah Nazruddin was with me till I completed my journey with Toastmasters of India. Afterwards, I bid goodbye to him for some time. Maybe I will call him. But always I used to use his example, use his anecdotes, but create a real life situation. I was in one of the Toastmasters club as a TMO, medalist, long back, very long back, 7 years back. So what happened was I had to call somebody for the icebreaker. After the icebreaker, Toastmaster did struggle for some time because it was first icebreaker. And after that, we applauded him, put him back. But then I had to give something as a finishing touch as a Toastmaster for every speech. So I brought Mullah Nazruddin. So I said, Toastmaster Mullah Nazruddin. When Toastmaster Mullah Nazruddin was a member of Toastmasters, VP Education confronted him. Told him, Mullah, I am seeing you for the past 6 months. You have not even started speaking. Now you have to give an icebreaker next week. Mullah was as usual afraid. He had butterflies in his stomach. He did not know what to do. He said, okay, sir, I will do it. He prepared himself. So the next week, he was called. As usual, the TMOD said, now the next speaker is Mullah Nazruddin. I would not like to talk about him because he is giving his icebreaker. And then there was an applause and Mullah came to the stage. And suddenly he started, he said Toastmaster of the day, and then he forgot it. Then Mullah knew only one sentence. He said, up to now, God and me knew everything I have to say. Now, God only knows. So, it's a way of putting things and seeing the whole thing lighthearted. Similarly, these are small things you can make, you can create and introduce it at the right time. For example, when I came inside, he met me. I said, welcome. I said, welcoming strangers also. Welcoming guests. So, this is a way of bringing humor to your talk. It is not that humor is not there in each one of you. It is there. Govardhan, Toastmaster Govardhan, Ramalingam Govardhan is an expert in humor. When he speaks, he also laughs. That's the point. The question is, he brings down the seriousness and keeps everybody very light-hearted. He's an expert in humorous speech. Everybody can attempt on humor. It is quite easy. All you have to do is talk differently. A friend of mine and me were walking in Perambur one day. He along with his two sisters were walking in Perambur. And then suddenly I looked at two ladies, wearing a frock. They're holding a red umbrella. Red umbrella. And there is not much sun and annual fair. So I said, what is this, sir? The sun is not so high and I don't know why they are walking with the umbrella. My friend said, sir, that's because of the English connection. It must be raining in London now. See, it's a gift of the gab that came out. And suddenly the two sisters started laughing. And then they turned back and then we took a look that side so that we are not talking about it. The question is how we spontaneously react to a situation by creating a certain amount of amusement. Now, I was talking about the sun, like how solar energy was discussed, sun, umbrella, but he changed the situation. He looked at the funny side of the situation and said English connection.